Caretaker season right around the corner. Literally, we got about a month and a couple of days to go. So what we're going to do today is teach you a little bit about a diaphragm call from MFK. It's the MFK Mofo, and it's a really easy call to use. It's a 2-reed call, and if I could do it, you can too. The bottom of every diaphragm call has a tab. This tab always goes down by your tongue. Make sure you do that and you get a good seal. And the first thing you're going to want to do is try to get a sound out of this. So what you're going to do is you're going to get it, put it in your mouth, get it nice and wet, and go from there. So now what you're going to want to try to do is push a little bit of air through the call from your diaphragm to get a sound. Just any sound like that. Just try to get a sound at first. That's the biggest thing. The next thing you're going to want to do now, especially with coyote hunting, is they go from low to high a lot. So you're going to want to take your tongue, you're going to want to move your tongue up towards the diaphragm to get that higher pitched sound. You're creating a small channel that makes the reeds move a lot faster and creates a higher pitch. So what you're going to do now is you're just going to try and move your tongue up. Did you hear that pitch break? That's because I got my tongue a little bit too close to the diaphragm. So the very first call we're going to do is a locator call. This call is basically a coyote going, hey, who's out there? And it's a great call to get yourself situated to where you can find where coyotes are at, because when you're coyote hunting, you want to be where the coyotes are. If you're not where the coyotes are, you're not going to get a coyote. Make sure you're where the coyotes are, and this call, the locator call, is how you can get there. So what you're going to do is you're just going to do a long howl, just and you're going to make that tongue and reach the peak, and then you can drop off a little bit after you get a nice long sequence howl out there. That's a locator call. The next call we're going to do is a greeting call. This call is basically a coyote going, who's over there? What are you doing? And what it is, it's a couple barks and a medium range howl in between it. Make sure you don't cut off that howl too short though, because if you do that, it'll be considered a challenge howl, which you don't want to do unless the situation arises for you to do that challenge howl. We'll talk about that later. But right now, the greeting call is a couple barks and a medium ranged howl. That's a greeting call. The next is the challenge howl. Like I said earlier, the challenge howl is a call that's basically, you're basically talking smack to a coyote. And if you hear this from another coyote coming towards yourself or towards you, you make sure that you do it back to that coyote, because if you talk smack to the coyote while the coyote's talking smack to you, usually there's an altercation in between, and usually you might be able to see that coyote, especially if it's one coyote. If there's multiple coyotes are harder to call in whenever they have more eyes, more sense of smell, more hearing. There's a ton of aspects that go into that, but when it's a single coyote, it's a lot easier to call in. And also, whenever that coyote does come in, does hear that challenge howl, that's a direct threat to him, not just the group in general. So a challenge howl is a bunch of barks with a real short howl that's abruptly stopped. So we're going to do a bunch of barks and a real short howl. The next call is probably one of the #1 calls that kill coyotes. It's the ki-yi. also known as the distress call. The Kai is a call I will do immediately after shooting a coyote. If I shoot a coyote and it's laying down, and I will immediately be on the call doing a Kai or hitting my Fox probe, pup distress 3. Make sure you do that instantly, because that is going to affect any other coyote that's around that area. Like if a pair of coyotes come in, you see one and you shoot it, the other coyote's taken off and it hears the distress call, it just might turn around and come back. So you might get a double, you might get a triple. But any distress call for predators is a great call, especially if you're using the same species. I don't know what it does to them, but it drives them insane. And it's the exact same with the Kai. The Kai is a bunch of whimper sounds. It's ha, ha, ha. You're really pushing that from your diaphragm. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the call in, make sure you take that tongue really close to that reed. It's gonna be almost fluttering on your tongue. It's gonna almost burning sensation on your tongue. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put it in. And that's the Kai. All right guys, that's it for this video. I hope that it's helped you in any way. Make sure you hit the like button for us. Make sure you comment down below and give us any feedback. And also subscribe to Heirs Outdoors if you want to see future content. Have a great fur taker season. See you next time.